Can you be successful if you're not the best in the world at what you do? What if you're not a prodigy, not a savant? What if I told you that this whole be the best mentality was just a bullshit capitalist trap forever designed to help you feel helpless, not good enough, chasing the next credential, the next course, the next guru, keeping you trapped in the quest for mastery? Yeah, let's get into it. Guru culture tells you if you suck, take a course and get better. What it doesn't ask is, do you love it? Are you excited about the process? Do you dig it even when it's hard? Do you like to play with it even if you're mediocre at it? That sounded kind of wrong. Although, I suppose you couldn't be mediocre at that. Moving on. Mainstream logic usually tells you to focus on the outcome, which, by the way, is always making more money. The more the better. But that's a little bit like trying to find your keys under the sofa while focusing on the horizon. What if instead you work with what you already have? Meet Scott. He's just an engineer having one long series of bad hair days at this corporate job that he kind of sucks at. He loves to draw, but he's not very good at it. He is funny, but he doesn't dig stand-up comedy. And luckily, this story is going down before social media was invented, so Alex Hormozi couldn't get his claws into Scott to tell him to work 27 hours a day, 8 days a week, until he got really world class. Plus Scott, he's kind of lazy, but in a good way. The kind of way that makes it unlikely that he will forget that the only reason he wants to make a bunch of money is so that he can do more of what he loves. Since Scott wasn't getting any younger and he didn't want to go to art school or take a comedy seminar, he decided to do something totally cray. He thought about what he loved doing, drawing. He thought about something that he was kind of good at, being funny. And he thought about what he had a lot of experience in, corporate America. And then he put them all together. You see that little piece in the middle where they all overlap? I call that little area your spike. It's where you're doing work in a way that puts you in flow. And the work you do in that space is endlessly fascinating. And you're doing it in a way that no one else has thought up. For our pal Scott, that looked like maybe he could try publishing a badly drawn comic about corporate America. Did I mention that Scott is Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, arguably one of the most successful syndicated comic strips of all time, at least until pretty recently? So yeah, maybe one way to be the best in the world is to create a category of one, where you are the only player. And the way that you win is by making up the rules. Dude didn't find a niche. He built one, and he did it by noticing what was already true about him and then following that line. Now, I don't want to imply that just because he found his spike, bags of money and unicorns started raining from the sky. Scott Adams worked really hard to get where he got. He used to wake up really early in the mornings and draw every single morning before going to his corporate job for years. But it is so much easier for you to be consistent at something you love and that challenges you in a way that makes you feel alive. So here's what you can do to find your spike. Stop asking yourself what you're world class at and instead ask, what makes me endlessly fascinated? What makes me feel alive even when it's hard and it's kicking my ass? What do I have a lot of experience in and therefore a deep understanding of? What can I see myself wanting to do, not have, do? Every day, the process, not the outcome. What have I always been interested in? What activities, what hobbies, what interests have stood the test of time for me? You just have to follow the thread of your interests and find the thing that gives you energy as you build muscle around it. Stack your pretty goods until they're unmistakably yours. And that, my friends, is your spike. The more you work with it, the less it will feel like you have to force anything. Oh, and one tip, give yourself time, because you may have spent so much of your life being a good capitalist soldier that you may have unlearned the impulse of listening to your inner urges. That's normal. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, you will love this other one that I made about a concept that totally changed the way I design life and business. If you want a much deeper dive into concepts like finding your spike, building an anti-fragile life and business, and 80-20 thinking, which helps me keep my limited resources focused on the problems that actually need to be solved, you're gonna love something that I've created. The Clarity Collective is my monthly membership community where I share these frameworks in much greater depth with templates, coaching, and direct access to me. all for just $9 a month. It's deliberately priced to be accessible to everybody who needs access to these tools, and not just the people who can afford premium prices. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.